Okay, we can go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining us today in the October office hours. As a reminder, as usual, we will be covering the new releases over the last month. And if you need to leave early for any reason, this will be recorded and posted. So we will reach out to you with that recording afterwards. Next slide, please. We've got our usual crew here today. I'm Kelsey, Senior Product Marketing Manager for PropertyIntel. We have Joshua Martin, Manager of Product. He will be taking us through the new feature demo. We have Chris Ascalisi, Technical Solutions Specialist, and Zach Decker, also here to help field any questions that might come in. So like usual, we'll go through the new features and improvements. Joshua will take us through a demo. We'll take a look at the updated roadmap, and then we'll have some time at the end for Q&A. So as usual, if you have any questions throughout the webinar, feel free to use that Q&A feature, and we will answer them either as we're going through or during that dedicated time at the end. And then Joshua, if you'd like to take over here for the new features.
Yeah, so we have several things that last week we released out. I do a caveat on one of the items here. Had a little bit delay that we do plan to get it out this week. But the first one there, material report. So we'll look at a demo and show you a little bit more of what that means. But a lot of new feature functionality, especially as it comes to being able to have more visibility into your projects and being able to kind of run some reports on whether it's different feature attributes on them, like square footage of turf or particular trees, that sort of thing related to that. The other that's also out currently is the improved catalog updates. We'll show you what we mean there, but just some improvements in the catalog management area. And then a few other general improvements just related on the back end, fixing some bugs and some issues. Most notably was an issue in mobile where you weren't able to see what you were drawing until you were finished with it. So that is updated to where you're actually seeing the preview as you should have been previously. And then the one that is still coming soon is the perimeter usage. And I can demo it in our kind of our testing environment today, so you can know what to expect there. And we anticipate being able to get that out by the end of this week. We just had a few things that came into testing that was taking a little bit longer to get issued out to you. So we can kind of look at the demo now. So related to material reporting, the feature that was added, if you want to access it within your projects or properties, you would switch from this thumbnail view of the projects to the table view. So if I switch to the table view, then it's going to allow me to be able to see the columns that I add better. And so the way you would run a report on a material is you would click this columns area, and this is where you're turning on and off which columns you want to see and what you don't want to see. So I can simplify this one down here to just be the name of the project and then the address associated with it. But then to see what we did, so we've added in this materials option here, so you can add a material as a column. So I could do something like sod and add it to my list here. And so what that's going to do then is it's going to add sod area as a material, and it's going to run a report across all of your projects, and then they would end up showing here. So any sod that had a quantity in it, any project that had that particular material quantity is going to show up here. And so you can add multiple ones. You can do this for really anything. So some of the use cases is if you've got several projects coming up and you need to do an order of tree material, and so you want to, or plant material, and you want to see what you need to order and be able to have a report of all of those quantities. Well, you can add each one of those materials as a column, and then you would have a nice list here, and you can sort by the ascending or descending order, but be able to see those. You can also download the CSV. And so if you download that, then it has it just as an Excel format that you can use. So yeah, useful for procurement and purchasing, useful for marketing. If you need to run a marketing campaign for customers that may have a specific tree on it that needs to get treated or needs to get pruned, palm pruning is a big seasonal service, and so a lot of times it may not be included in contracts. It's an additional service, and so if you've done a takeoff and you've counted all those palm trees, then you can easily kind of get an idea of all the customers that you need to target with that, and even forecast some potential revenue that could be associated with those when you kind of pair it to your estimating system. So that's kind of the material usage reporting. If I click over to the catalog, then we'll kind of see some of the updates and improvements here. So visually, we added in the symbol and the color for the things that you're drawing. So material are the only things that you really draw in the editor in the markup view with, and so we added this preview of the really just the annotation type, and then for objects, then they had the preview of the symbol here. So like this is be a red circle every time it was placed, and so you can see those. So it makes editing and changing the ones that you want to really easy. So if I wanted to change pedestals because all these were the same, you can easily click on it, update the icon to something like a square, and then you can change the color to the green and save, and it would update that particular item. So on it, pedestals, and you can kind of see the preview updated there. The other thing that we added was bulk action. So really the only action that you have today that you can do in bulk is archive. But you can select and archive all the selected items. That does make cleaning up your catalog list a lot easier. So you can kind of go through and be able to clean up and archive items that you don't want. And we did add this archive catalog items area so that you can easily kind of see if you've ever archived any of these items and have them shown here. So that was the changes related to catalog management within that particular view. And then I can pull up to be able to show, kind of give you a preview of what some of the perimeter reporting is going to look like. Just give me 1 second. So what we did with perimeter is we've added perimeter within your to be able to be used for shapes in associations or in kits. And so what that means is today we had always, if you were in a particular material like turf, if I selected a turf shape, you could see the perimeter as being reported here, but that's really it. We just were reporting on the perimeter on the shape itself. And so the change that we've been making is allowing you to be able to use that perimeter. And so one of the things one of the areas that you could use it is in material associations. And so if I click this turf, and I'm going to click down the bottom right where it says edit item, then you can see what I've done here is added this flat trimming. So that's a line item in my material catalog that was over on the left. And then what's new is there will be this perimeter checkbox here. So if you check this box, what it's going to do is for every turf shape, it's going to take the perimeter of that and it's going to add that quantity to the line, to this flat trimming line item in linear feet. And so what you see here is for this particular one, this flat trimming gets populated with a quantity, even though I don't necessarily have to measure that flat trimming area directly out and visually show it on my list. And so for this case, you would use flat trimming for cleanup work. It's all those areas that the mower can't quite get to. And so a common method is just to kind of take the perimeter to do that. And just to kind of give you a little bit of a preview of it working, you can kind of see this perimeter quantity is 46, 43 right now. But if I come in and add a turf measurement to it, and so it's going to be adding a perimeter shape, as well to it. Then this perimeter, this flat trimming change, because it picked up this total perimeter and added it to the list. When it's selected, you can kind of see the same thing. I can select this shape and you can see associated materials. And so it's adding this 2,000 feet to the perimeter there. So, all right. Then related to that is kind of within, if I click on the estimate tab, you can kind of see where it can also do some of these same things. So I could take this flat trimming and make that associated to my turf shape as well. I think, let's see here. This one particularly, but if I added in an edging item to this kit, then in the kit on the set rate, I can choose perimeter. And so it's going to do this would end up doing the same thing. You'll notice that it's not going to give me a unit cost associated with this because there's really no way to do that, because it would change dynamically as you add more shapes or make shapes bigger than kind of the cost per square foot would change. So it's not going to give you a unit cost. It's going to give you this varies to indicate that. And so if I updated the attached kit, and then some of the things that you would see is the same thing I'm talking about here, where it's going to indicate that this particular unit cost is going to vary because it's going to vary based off of the size of the shape itself related to it. All right. I think that kind of highlights the perimeter use case. It does flow down into proposals where you can use it, but those are the two big main areas within associations and within kits themselves as well. Related a little bit to that, one of the things that is added, it's a small thing, but we added the Aspire. If you're an Aspire user and your Aspire property takeoff is added as just to kind of be able to view it as a template here. So you can kind of see and get an idea of all your groups and items that are here. And so the thing that we're doing then now related, it is similarly related to how I showed those associations within just a few minutes ago. But what we're adding to this is being able to build out those associations and save them so that when you're launching from Aspire, you would be able to have those associations already applied. So one of the common areas that happens comes in this case here, where you have your different mower types, and then you would have like a total turf area. Today, you have to go into that project, and if you want to PropertyIntel to calculate the total turf, you have to build out those associated materials to do that. And so we're in the middle of developing to where you can save those associations to the template directly. And so it should save you time on future projects. So that's why we added this to this area, is so that in the future, you're going to be able to do that. Today, though, it's really just for viewing purposes, because you're not using this when you're creating projects directly from PropertyIntel. This gets used from Aspire users whenever they create a takeoff project coming from Aspire and launching from Aspire. But it does give you an idea of what we're bringing in and all those groups and items associated with that. So let me kind of pull back up the presentation, kind of look at the roadmap. Yeah, so here's kind of a preview of our roadmap coming up. So one of the really largest efforts that we've been announcing and talking about for a long time is collaborative editing. So that work is getting started in full force. So it's going to take us several months to kind of finish it and build it out. But we do anticipate having the bulk of that feature functionality available to you by the end of this year. Is kind of what we're targeting and shooting for. So that's a really large one. Equally so, site audits and inspections, being able to do kind of inspection and audit workflows using reference maps. That's another large feature initiative that we have planned for this year, coming in for you to be able to, that kind of coming in the same thing, pretty close. A lot of that feature functionality coming in by the end of the year related to that. And then several of the other things that you see here that I think people are excited to see some updates and improvements to. Our project exports is a large one, getting a little bit better image quality on those screenshot export views, as well as some other export options related to it, and things for that. Image editing as well. We've had a lot of requests around just some of those editing features related to the photo mockups, where you're going in and creating those photo mockups of what the project may look like once it's done. And so we have set aside some time for improving that, adding in more plant options, and as well as just more features related to editing photos that you would need there. And then just some of the things that you kind of see there looking out later, really more towards middle and late next year, with our section report builder, PDF takeoff automations. So even like we've kind of previewed a little bit of that with ProMaps of how we're able to do some of those automations with aerial views and ProMap functionality. And so we'll be looking to bring some more of those efficiencies similarly to PDF takeoffs, and being able to do some auto symbol recognition and snapping to lines to make drawing and measuring on PDFs a lot faster. And then a dashboard with your properties that's going to bring in some additional insights where you're kind of continuing to visualize all the different data that you're collecting on properties. And then again, continuing to use more new technology like drones and autonomous mowers. I think that brings us to our Q&A time.
Yep. Thanks, Joshua. Sorry to make you drive the presentation and give the presentation.
No
I had some technical difficulties with that, but it does not look like we have any Q&A today. I will leave it open for another minute or so while we wrap up here. I did see a few people join in a few minutes after we got started. So as a reminder, after we get the video processed and published, I will send out the recording to you via email, so you will be able to catch up on those couple things that you may have missed at the very beginning. But if you have any questions come to mind after that, feel free to shoot us an email. We will get you an answer, and we look forward to seeing you next month. So I have to double check the date. Again, it will be in the emails. We might switch a little bit because of the Thanksgiving holiday. So just be on the lookout for that update. And still no Q&A today, so I guess we will wrap up. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next month.